crazy people get through the forest?
They take the psychopath. How do you get holy water?
Boil the hell out of it. What y'all call a boomerang that don't come back?
A stick. What do you call cheese that's not yours?
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. What do you call Santa's helpers? Subordinate clauses. What do you call four bullfighters in quicksand? Apparently, they're coming. Otro cinco. What do you get from a pampered cow?
Spoiled milk. What do you get when you cross a snowman and a vampire?
Frostbite.
Frostbite. What lies at the bottom of the sea and twitches? A nervous wreck. What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup?
You can roast beef.
I got that. What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup? Anybody can roast beef, but I bet you can't. Well,
You all right?
where do you find a dog with no legs?
Right where you live.
You said it. Right where you left it, okay? Why do blind people don't like to skydive? Hey, can I get an answer here?
Yeah, okay. What did you ask me?
Why do blind people don't like to skydive?
That's not mine.
That's mine! There's the seeing-eye dog. What kind of coffee was served on the Titanic?
Sanka. What's the difference between a bad golfer and a bad skydiver?
I got this. A bad golfer goes, whack, dang. A bad skydiver goes, dang, whack. How are a Texas tornado and a Tennessee divorce the same?
Somebody's gonna lose a trailer.
Yes, we did get answers to most things. Our first skit is going to begin right behind the curtain here. It's going to be introduced by Joe.
Bob is an old farmer from Missouri. He and his wife, Franny, have been on the farm a long time. They decide to go to the big city to see the sights and celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. Look at all the tall buildings. After a little sightseeing, they check into a fancy hotel. Franny wants to go to the gift shop. Boy, I'm glad she kept that there. Bob, being left alone, sits in the lobby and observes the city folk as they come and go. As he watches, he can see the elevator and notices that it goes all the way up to the 5th floor very frequently. A woman, visibly exhausted from her travels, comes into the hotel. Looks for the elevator and enters the elevator. Bob sits and watches. A short time later, the elevator comes down and she emerges looking very nice. Bob notices. Soon, another haggard and tired woman enters the lobby, looks at Bob. Bob looks back without much interest and notices that she's going to the elevator as well. Bob watches intently. The elevator door closes. And the elevator goes all the way up to the 5th floor. Bob's very anxious. He notices, shortly afterwards, that the elevator is returning from the 5th floor. The door opens. And wow, another miraculous transformation. I especially like this one. Bob sits there for a while and he's thinking, then he goes to the gift shop and tries to find Franny. Coaxes her out of the gift shop. Franny wasn't done shopping, evidently. He shows her the elevator. And reluctantly, she goes toward the elevator. She didn't want to leave the gift shop. Bob has the elevator come. She enters the elevator. And Bob sits down, waiting. It goes all the way to the 5th floor. Stays there for a little bit, and then he sees it's coming back down, hoping for another miraculous transformation.
Ready to do a TV show, so here's their TV producer getting them started.
5 minutes of showtime, ladies. 5 minutes.
is the showtime, ladies.
Let's have a wonderful show, Maxine. Cheers.
Sure, Martha, cheers.
Live from Sunshine RV Resort in beautiful Harlingen, Texas. Welcome to another edition of Martha and Maxine, Kitchen Tips and Tricks. And now, please put your hands together and welcome on stage the stars of our show, Martha and Maxine.
Good evening. I'm Martha, and I've selected a few of my all-time favorite cooking tips and tricks to share with you tonight.
I'm Maxine. My tips normally use the cabinet method. I open the cabinet, I grab a can, open it, and eat it.
For my recipes, I always use a 3 by 5 inch typed, double-spaced index card. I never leave room for error with my cooking.
Well, good for you, Martha. I use 5 by 7, pretty fancy smancy there. I use 5 by 7 cards and crayons. Much easier on the eyes, and size does matter, you know.
My first tip for you tonight involves how to keep ice cream from dripping out of your bottom of your cone. Simply place miniature marshmallows in the bottom. No more drips.
Okay, I guess you could do it that way. Or you just suck the dang ice cream out of the bottom of the cone. The good stuff is always on the bottom anyway. Want this back?
No, thanks.
All right.
You keep it.
Okay.
To keep your fresh bag of potatoes from budding, simply insert a fresh apple. They'll both stay great and keep your potatoes from growing eyes.
Eyes. I use instant mashed potatoes. Stays good for years and years and years, as you can
see. When your favorite cake recipe calls for flouring the bottom of your pan, simply place a little bit of your cake mix in the bottom. It'll eliminate all the white mess around the bottom of your cake.
Oh yeah, you got a mess in there. However, bake schmake, I go to the HEB store. Or the hat store, or the Heap store, whichever. They decorate too. Look, Martha.
Oh,
Smell it. It's good. It's really good, Martha.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, no taste really.
If you accidentally oversalt a dish while you're cooking it, simply put a peeled potato in it. It'll absorb all of the salt from your dish.
Too much salt? Ha! All you gotta do is just add some popcorn. Popcorn! You can never have too much popcorn! Oh, what the heck? Let's do the whole bag. There you go. Next.
Want to keep your celery fresh? Simply take it, wrap it in aluminum foil. It'll keep in your refrigerator for weeks that way.
Weeks? Celery is only good for one thing and one thing. It's a swizzle stick for Bloody Marys.
Brush some beaten egg white over your pie crust before baking to yield a beautiful glossy finish.
Or you can get the same finish with a large tube of lip gloss. Okay, fine.
Thank you. like Maxine.
Lucky souls that they are.
My next tip is very important. You take a line, you cut it in half, you rub it on your forehead for all the headaches. Surely it'll work quick.
Limes, that, Martha, are good for only one thing: cocktails. And besides, if you never stop drinking, you'll never get a headache.
You all have that leftover wine? Pour it into your ice cube trays for future use in casseroles and sauces.
Leftover wine? Did you say leftover wine? Is this your leftover wine?
Yes.
Good stuff. Did you leftover wine? You know,
Yes.
that's just foreign. I don't get that.
Okay.
Leftover wine? Hello.
Oh, my next tip involves how to open those jars that the lid's on so tight you just can't get a good grip. Your latex gloves.
Oh, I know
All you
about
have
latex
to do
gloves.
is put those on and voila! Off comes the lid, easy as pie.
Easy as pie, she says. You can just do what I do. Call 1-800-HUNKA-HUNKA-HUNKA and ask for Jim, Bob, or Mike.
Do you have Jim's phone number? We'll have a good night.
Our next skit takes place in that all too familiar doctor's office. We will soon begin another episode of America's favorite senior soap opera, All My Gallstones.
Mr. Gherkin? No. Mr. B. Nimble, you want to have a seat there? I'm Nurse Gherkin. Okay, let's see here. Be Nimble, correct?
Yes, correct. But you can call me Jack.
Okay, Jack, may I have the urine specimen cup I gave you earlier?
Here it is.
It's empty.
I know, I didn't need it. There was a bathroom in the room. I was
Well, guess we'll have to try that later. Okay, I'll be taking some of your vital signs. Okay, let's just take your blood pressure here. Oh, let's see. Okay, let's see what we get here. Are you taking any medicine for your blood pressure?
Yes, it's in the bag.
Bag. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, well. Well, let's finish this up. Oh, we're getting a rise in heart rate here.
Yes, we are.
I'm gonna note that in my chart here. Okay, let's take this off. Okay. Well, let's take our temperature. Jack, let's just see what our your ear. Let's see what our temperature is. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Yeah, you don't need to do that. Okay.
My ear was was itchy, but now it's gone. Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad of that. Okay. Well, the doc will be with you shortly, and I'm going to leave now. We'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Stein, Dr. Frank N. Stein. Glad to meet you, Mr. Denimble. Is that right?
Well, you can call me Jack.
Okay. Okay, Jack. Well, we're going to examine you and take a look at what's going on with you.
It's my arm, Doc. It hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Doc, do I have to pay you right now?
No. Why do you ask?
Because the last time I told my doctor I had a memory problem, and he said pay now.
No, we're not going to do that. Are you retired, Jack?
Yes, I was a city dog catcher for 40 years.
40 years? How old are you, Jack?
455 years old.
455? That can't be right.
Oops, that's in dog years. I'm 65.
Yeah, that makes more sense. How about sleeping? Do you sleep well at night, Jack?
I sleep like a baby, and sometimes I wake up dry.
Hey, that's a good sign, right? So what seems to be the problem?
My arm.
Your arm?
It hurts. It hurts when I raise it.
Well, then don't raise it.
You gotta do something, Doc.
Okay. Well, tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being no pain at all and 10 being excruciating pain, all right? Tell me what you feel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow. Well, how long have you had this problem?
About 8 hours.
8 hours. How did you injure your arm, Jack?
Pickle jar.
Oh, you mean pickleball?
No. Pickle jar. I went into the last big one of the jar, and the wife couldn't yank it up, and it hurts.
Well, that was kind of silly, wouldn't you say?
Oh, when I was young, I did stupid things. Now I'm old. Now I'm trying to remember that I'm not young anymore.
I see. Well, what'd you say to your wife after she did that?
Nothing. Actually, I don't want to interrupt her.
Oh, okay. Nurse Gherkin, could you come in here, please?
Yes, doctor, what can I help you with?
Hold Mr. Benimble's arm, and let's see if I can get that pickle jar off of here. No, it's not going to come off. Nurse Gherkin, you're going to have to go get the ICB-INB gel.
You doctor sure use a lot of acronyms in your work, eh?
Yes, we do. And I warn you, Jack, that this is a little expensive, this procedure we're going to perform. So,
Cost is not an option, doctor.
okay. The fluid, the gel that we're going to use is $80 an ounce, and the protective gear is $40 a pair. So I just want to warn you ahead of time.
Well, you got to do it.
Okay. Okay. We'll take off. Okay. Safety first. Nurse Gherkin. Gloves on.
On second thought,
Last chance, Jack.
Do it, Doc. It hurts too much.
Let go of the pickle, Jack.
Well, let's hope the pickle was worth all that trouble. Next, we have up an answer to that age-old question about the difference between men and women inside the brains. Let's see if Richard can accurately explain the difference in how their brains work. Just give him a minute or two and he will get out here with a very good explanation.
I've been selected by a group of my peers, as you can only imagine, to share with you tonight the results of some extensive research that has gone on, and lots of time was spent on it, and lots of money, up to $1.50, was spent on it, and you're going to be shocked tonight as I share this with you. It's actually going to be jaw-dropping information that you're going to hear. And if you didn't realize that, and I'm sure most of you haven't, men and women think differently. That wasn't supposed to be the funny part. We're going to start out with the man over here. A man now, when he thinks his brain is filled up with rows of boxes. Boxes this away, boxes this away, and rows of boxes. And in a man's brain and mind of thinking, there's only one thing in each box. He's got a box for his tools. He's got a box for his pressure washer and the family car and the garage and the lawnmower and all those things. He's got one thing in each box. And when you talk to a man about a subject, he will get that box out and open it up and talk about it. Like if you were to ask him about his pressure washer, he would tell you that it's got a Honda engine on it, and it's got 5 different little colored tips, and all the things that he's washed with that thing, including the neighbor's garage door, because he just couldn't get stopped. And when he finishes talking about something, he will put that box carefully back in its place, careful not to touch any other box. A moment of silence. A woman's brain, on the other hand, can be best described as a ball of wire. And everything is connected. Her shoe collection is connected to the jewelry, connected to the scarves that goes each one's connected to the earrings, connected to the bank account, the family car, and everything. It's like a super internet highway. A woman's brain never stops. It's always going, and everything is connected. And everything that's connected is driven by emotion. If you take an event and you connect it with an emotion, it's burnt in a woman's brain forever. When's the last time you had somebody over and the men were sitting in the kitchen talking and the ladies were sitting in the living room at the other end of the house, and the men were talking and said, "Hey, I saw Bill over at the flea market, last Saturday, week ago Saturday, and this voice from the other end of the house said, "It was Wednesday." No, it was Saturday. It was Wednesday because I was wearing my fuchsia top with my plum-colored capris on and my forest green flats. Believe me, it was Wednesday. Has that ever happened to you? No man in here knows what color fuchsia is, right, guys? We don't know what those colors are. Now, a man has one box in his mind and his brain that has nothing in it. This is his favorite box. He can spend hours in this box because he's trained to do endless hours of mindless things and still breathe. Like fishing. Or a remote on a TV. A man can spend untold hours in his nothing box. And listen up here, men. Don't ever let the woman in your life into your nothing box. If you do, she will walk in there and in seconds she will say, "Boy, this thing could use some wall hangings in here, some curtains over here, a little rocking chair here, and a stool, and a table, and a doily, and a lamp, and a picture of my mother." So don't ever let the woman in your life into your nothing box. Stress. Women handle stress differently than men. And the crowd got quiet. Women, when they are stressed about something, they have to talk about it. They'll call a girlfriend and they'll come over and they'll talk about it from the right side and from the left side and from the front and the back and everything. And they'll just talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. Okay, let's go to Dairy Queen. And if a man sees that his lady in his life is under stress, he will give her his best advice. Well, just don't think about it anymore. As he retreats to his stress box. And if a man is under stress, where does he go? To his nothing box. His favorite place. And his lady in his life, when she sees that her man is in stress or stressed about something, she will come over and say, "What you thinking about?" "You need to talk about it." Go away. And that's the way a man deals with stress. It was discovered by the University of Pennsylvania, did an extensive research, and it was determined that women use around 20,000 words a day. You're waiting, aren't you? Men use somewhere around 7. And I really think that's a stretch. For example, two men can go fishing in a boat in the middle of a lake for 4 hours and say less than 10 words. You know, they're in there. And this can go on for hours. Yeah. Hey. Are you getting tired of that yet? And when it's all over, yeah. And away they go. Less than 10 words in 4 hours. And now you know that men and women think differently.
For our final skit tonight, we are presenting a murder mystery that happens right here in Sunshine Park. Listen to the story carefully, because at the end you will be asked to vote on who it is that committed the murder. Be sure to listen for the clue that will explain everything.
What's the meaning of this? I just got a phone call demanding I appear here immediately to meet with a park manager and a deputy sheriff.
I don't know, I got the same phone call and I don't know what for.
Well, this is interesting. I can't imagine why I've been told to come here, but I am quite glad to see two such charming fellows. Perhaps something really fun and exciting is in the works?
I doubt it. Seems like trouble to me.
Well, Colonel Mustard, I might have known that you would be involved in this trouble somehow. Professor?
Yes, I'm coming. Yes.
Do you know why you were called here?
I don't indeed, but I'm glad you're here, so you can straighten out all this.
Well, I'm not impressed. Do you know why you were called?
I have no idea. I was going to the library early this morning, and I don't know why I'm here.
Gee, Professor Plum, I'm really impressed if you're here. There must be something pretty important going on.
Am I in the right place? I got a phone call that said to report to the office immediately. I can't imagine why. My grandchildren are coming to visit, and I've got so much to do to get ready for them. They're the most darling children ever. Have I shown you the latest pictures?
I've seen those pictures several times, and we don't want to know what, we don't even know what this is about. It's very suspicious. I don't like it at all.
Oh, thank you for showing up so promptly. We have a very serious situation at this park.
Serious? Well, it must be serious to have the park manager here this early in the morning. We deserve a little explanation about what's going on here.
You will get one. The thing I know for sure is that I had a call very early this morning from the sheriff's department. And he said that they wanted to talk to us, and they're going to be sending out a sheriff to talk to each one of you.
Well, for my part, I'm very pleased to be included. I'm sure it will be very worthwhile to learn more about whatever is going on here in the park with this particular group of people.
Well, this is just a terrible, terrible situation. The park management is just so up in the air about it. They're very, very concerned, and we just don't know
We just don't know what's going on.
Seems like something emergency.
Wait a minute.
Everyone, welcome the sheriff, their assistant.
Glad to see you're all here so early. A very serious situation has developed here, and I need to talk to each one of you. This morning, a body was found outside the park gate that it appears was murdered. It was Mr. Joe Shadow, the county tax assessor.
I knew it was something serious. Why in particular were we called here?
I don't have an answer to that. I have an assistant with me here in case you couldn't find her.
She's going to throw her under the bus.
And I'm going to send her out into the park to start her investigation. And I want each one of you to stay here till I can interview you. You know where to go and what to look for, right?
Sure. You ready for me to go now? I have a warrant, Sheriff.
So where are you going to look first?
Well, you want me to look in each of their homes, and you also want me to check the pool room, the wood shop, the laundromat, the library, the sewing room at Lakeside, of course, and the main swimming pool.
Let me look at this warrant. I'm not too sure about this.
Now, just hang on a minute. I want you to look in each of those, ask anybody that was in each of those areas yesterday to see if any of our suspects were there. So get your investigation going.
I don't see anything. Well, it does look legitimate. I've nothing to hide.
Well, you need to give my assistant, each of you need to give him your keys to your units so she can start her search.
Well, I've got nothing to hide. Here, take my key.
Thank you.
Well, it's okay with me if you have my key, as long as you don't come by while I'm entertaining, if you know what I mean.
I don't imagine, I don't know what you're going to find there, but here's my key anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Well, I'm very unhappy with this kind of treatment. It all seems highly irregular to me.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know what to think about all this. I find it very confusing. What would you look for in my home? Matter of fact, I've lost my key. But if you dial Buzz, B-U-Z-Z, the door will open.
Well, this is quite a problem for me. As I said, my grandchildren are coming. Oh, here, take my key. Just get it over with as soon as possible.
Okay, Sheriff, I'm on it.
Are you sure you want to proceed this way?
Yes, this is a valid court order, and you have to comply.
Are you sure?
Yes, and now. Now I want to talk to you, each of you individually, and I have to ask you to remain here until we have finished our investigation. You'll have to wait. Now, I appreciate it, park manager, if you could sit in on the interviews with me. You probably know things about the park that I don't, and your help would probably speed things along.
Yes, I do know some things. And you know, corporate headquarters has already contacted us. They're all really, really concerned. Who do you think we need to start with?
I think Mr. Green, the county agent's first appointment was with him. Do you have a place where we can conduct the interviews?
Yes, the office is closed, so we can use that room this morning.
Okay, thank you. All right, have a seat, Mr. Green. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here yesterday. What time did Mr. Shadow get you your unit?
Round 10:20. He was late because he said he couldn't find my unit.
And what did he have to tell you about your unit?
Well, he said he had checked around, went to the records downtown, and found that my unit was under-evaluated and they should increase the city tax on it. I was not too happy about that, let me tell you.
Did you tell him that?
At the top of my lungs. And I told him that I'm not too happy.
Then what happened?
I told him that I would contest that, I would bring that to the courts, and then I told him to get the hell out.
So what else happened with him yesterday?
Nothing, he just left.
Did you do anything more about it?
No, I had to get ready for a pool tournament. I spent the whole day working on that, and I was up to the wee hours of the morning. As a matter of fact, I didn't get too much sleep, and I'm still tired.
So you were out and about last night?
Yeah, I was out, but most of the evening was spent with my buddies at the pool hall. But I saw something.
What was that?
I saw Professor Plum wandering around with a rope. Now, this guy is so secretive. Don't know what to think of it.
It is true, we did have a pretty busy pool tournament here at the park yesterday, and they were coming in from all the other different parks too.
Okay, Mr. Green, you can go. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Would you please send in Miss Scarlett? I want to talk to her next.
Will do.
Can you tell me when Mr. Shadow got to your unit yesterday?
Well, I'm not completely sure. I was just getting up and a little bit sleepy. It must have been 10:50, 11 o'clock in the morning. I was sort of surprised to see that he wanted to see me personally, but that does happen a lot sometimes.
What do you mean? What did he have to say?
Well, he told me the county was upping my taxes $200. Can you imagine? I can't think why or how they could justify that or how I could afford it. I actually cried. How is a poor, helpless woman like me supposed to manage that kind of change?
I'm afraid I can't answer that question. I'm more concerned about what happened after you cried.
Well, he was not the least bit sympathetic. He just told me that I had to find a way to manage. I'm sure you ladies understand how cruel that seemed.
What happened after you expressed your concerns?
Well, nothing. He just left and he said he had another appointment soon with Mrs. Peacock, I believe. I'm still upset about all this business. I did see something strange with Mrs. White yesterday, though.
What was that?
Well, she was in the bathroom, down there in the hallway, later in the day. with her knitting needles. She seemed to be washing them off. It seemed a little bit strange to me.
Did you ask her about it?
Well, no. I was kind of busy, you see. I had a few important things to do and a very interesting meeting with an interesting man.
All right, you can leave. And please send in Mrs. Peacock.
I want to be seen right away. I need to know more about what's going on here, and I need to know what's being said here.
No, you don't have any rights here. Now go outside and sit down and wait your turn.
I'm not used to be treated like this, and I can promise you there's going to be a full investigation of you and the park manager.
We will get to you as soon as possible. Now, would you please go out
All right,
and
but
send Miss Peacock?
I want you to know I'm dissatisfied, and I'll see you later.
No problem. Please have a seat, Mrs. Peacock.
I'm so glad you finally got to me so that I can clear up any misunderstandings or concerns that you might have about me. I have no idea what happened to that young man.
What time did he get to your unit and what did he have to say?
Well, I don't know. It was late morning sometime, right before my very important ladies' luncheon. And he told me some nonsense story about the value of my property going up several $100s, and then he left.
Well, when did he leave? And did you see him later that day?
Oh, I don't know. It was just before my 12:30 ladies' luncheon, and I definitely did not see him later that day. However, I did see Miss Scarlett around the main swimming pool acting in a very provocative way. I would be suspicious of her, if I were you.
Suspicious? What do you mean by that?
Well, all I can tell you is that it was very provocative, and it involved a very pointy high-heel shoe. She wears them around here much too often to be in good taste. Can I leave now?
Yes, you could go, but don't leave until we finished our investigation. We may have some more questions for you. Send in Professor Plum, please.
Sure.
Is this where you want me to sit?
Yes, please have a seat.
Okay. I don't know what I can tell you.
What time yesterday did you meet with the county agent, and what did he have to tell you about your unit?
I'm not sure. I was pretty busy working up a lecture for the park here, and about the bees, and how wonderful they are, and the details of all the experts I got to call, and everything about it.
So you don't have any idea what time you talked to him?
No, not at all, not really. But I do tell you, there was something very suspicious about him.
What do you mean by suspicious?
Well, he used to stand up like this, and look over his shoulder, left and right. And he got me very confused.
What did he tell you about your unit?
Well, no, nothing but too important, something about taxes or something. I didn't pay too much attention. Like I said, I was very concerned about the change in the bee population and around here, and what we need to do about the experts to tell you about.
Did you see him later in the day or that night?
No, I don't think so. Can I go now? Or not?
Well, if you can think of anything else, please let us know.
Well, there is one thing that I was wondering about.
What was that?
Mrs. Peacock was asking yesterday while I was in the library about poison. Poison. Peacock. Get it? And about the bee, but I'm really more interested in the bees around here and how it relates to the phases of the moon. And then the experts will come in and they'll take all the bees.
Never mind. You can leave. Please send in Colonel Mustard.
Fine. How about Mrs. White instead?
Okay.
May I come in? There's no one else out there.
Please come ahead and have a seat.
Thank you. I will cooperate in any way I can.
What time did you meet with the county agent yesterday?
Oh, it was 2 o'clock, that's right. I remember because I had to take some cookies out of the oven for my grandchildren who are coming to visit. And I'm also working on a quilt for them, and I needed to do a little bit more work over in the quilt room at Lakeside. He actually met me over there.
What did he have to tell you about your unit?
Oh my, he told me my taxes were going to go up $400 a year. I'm so worried about where am I going to get that much money. My grandchildren, I have to keep this place. My grandchildren need a place to come visit me. I have the nicest pictures of them. They're such sweet children.
Yeah, that's all right. I just need to know what happened after he talked to you about the tax increase.
Well, nothing much. He just told me he had to go to another park and talk to some other people.
Did you see him later that day at all?
No, not at all. But there was one thing that sort of alarmed me yesterday.
What was that?
Colonel Mustard had a gun, and he was very, very angry about something. I don't have a clue what.
Did you... What? I am speaking. What was he doing with the gun?
Well, he was cleaning it, you know, out by the woodcraft shop. He spends an awful lot of time over there. I would not like my grandchildren to see such a thing. May I go now?
Yes, you can leave. Come in, Colonel Mustard.
About time. Can we get on with this now?
Certainly, have a seat. And what time did you have the county agent at your house yesterday?
He got here exactly at 1300 hours. 13 minutes late, if you don't mind. He was. I don't like to see him late, and I don't know what he was doing there. You see, he's not even there on time. He said he would be there.
What did he have to tell you about your unit?
Well, he claimed he had a new assessment of my place and several others in the park, and he looked at the new numbers for the county as a whole and intended to recommend that the county wanted me to pay $683 more a year. That's crazy. Can you believe that? It was perfectly outrageous, and I told him so. He was the most unpleasant man, you understand. I didn't like him at all. I didn't have any patience for him. I didn't intend to put up with this kind of arbitrary bullying and petty bureaucracy. I told him to leave my property.
Did you see him later that day after he left your unit?
I did not. But I told him I did see something that you should be concerned about. Last night, I saw Mr. Green with a knife sharpening his pool cue. Kind of unusual thing for him to do, don't you think? Can I go now?
Yes, you can go. If you think of anything else of importance, please get in touch with me.
I will. I'll get a hold of you.
Well, thank you for your cooperation.
Is there anyone else you want to see?
No, I just want to have a look around the park myself and find out from my assistant what she's found out about her inquiries. I'll get back to you as soon as I get more on the forensics. Let me know if anything else comes up.
I sure will. I sure will.
Thank you.
To clarify the suspects in this mystery crime, we have one last excuse from each of them, starting with Mr. Green.
Everyone knows when a pool cue is broken, you have to sharpen the tip.
All my high heels are modified with a hypodermic needle in the toe. A girl can't be too careful, can she?
Okay, I got a gun with a silencer on it. But I'm not going to be silent about $683. Yellow-bellied sapsucker.
My ladies' luncheon will proceed without a glitch. I can promise you that.
In ancient times, rope was used to make beehives.
Don't believe it. Google it.
I'll be on pins and needles until my grandchildren arrive. Don't mess with Texas or grandmas.
For our mystery, this is as far as we are going tonight. If you want to find out who killed Joe Shadow, you have to come back to our show March 4. That's why you have the ballots on your table. But before you begin to cast your votes, I want to introduce the performers and helpers for tonight's show. Starting with the Clue skit. Let's get all the Clue people up here. We have Joe Bateman, Larry Bison, Nancy Asel, Sherry Bateman, Wayne Blindauer, and Dee Rentera. Park manager was played by Annette Elkins, the sheriff by Mary Jo Lackey, her assistant is Sharon Blindauer. Okay, Clue. Now, the doctor and expert on all the men's and women's brains is Richard Elkins. And in the elevator skit, we have Betty Galt, who actually brought the idea to us. Come on, Betty, come on out. And her husband, Farmer Bob LeBee. The glamorous Lucille Machka. And the surprise visitor from the elevator is George Taylor. Lucille's down there on the projector. Okay, in addition, we want to thank Jan Courtright, who filled in so well with the piano. Barb Branch, who ran the microphones. Bob Lackey, our lights. Jim Asel and Ed O'Neill set the stage with the curtains. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Wayne Blindauer on the front, and Nancy Steele is our director.